The Painting with Magic Show with Brandon Thomas is brought to you by BrandonThomasArtSupply.com.
Hey, it's Brandon here with the Painting with Magic Show, and today I have another awesome project for you. What I have is my 16 by 20 canvas. This is a Fredrix Red label canvas, and I have it in the portrait stance. So it's in the standing up in portrait position like we did last week. So it's standing long ways. And what I have is I have my signature amazing white medium on the top, and then about 6 inches up from the bottom, so the whole bottom I covered with NTO medium, and that is my clear medium here, NTO medium. Okay, and so the canvas is ready to go. It's ready, it's slick and wet, so it's all wet and slick and ready to go. I have my palette of paint here, which is the Grumbacher pre-tested, and this is the color sheet here. You already see this at the beginning of the video on the screen. The same exact print off you can get at BrandonThomasArt.com, and you can look up the supply sheets on there. It's under the tab show. So if you go to BrandonThomasArt.com and you go to the link show, scroll down, you'll find the palette print off beyond there. Okay, and with that, I think we're ready to go and get monkey face. So what we're going to do, take a 2-inch brush and go into some Napthol red. Just a little Napthol red. Just some Napthol red on the old 2-inch brush. Load it up there. Okay. That should be good enough. We'll see how strong we got. Let's go back up here. Okay, so just using the X stroke, we're going to paint this whole entire thing here. Just using an X stroke. And just keep painting that down. We're going to paint this as if it was a blue sky, but we're going to do it all in red. Okay, I need a little bit more paint, so I'm just going to reload the brush. And you never want to load too much of this in your brush, because you never know how much how strong it's going to be when you get up here. So just load a little bit at a time, just a little bit at a time, and just get in and get monkey faced on it. There we go. I want to bring this down a little bit more. I'm just going to add a little more of the red here. A little bit more on this side. And because I have amazing white on here, it blends and mixes right on the canvas automatically. So this canvas is wet. Okay? It is a wet canvas. Alright. There we go. Got that good and covered. And we'll go with an old number 6 fan brush and go to the palette. Okay, I'm going to take a little titanium white, put it right here, and grab a little blue, because this is going to be a strong blue. Okay. Load that brush up, just like this. Now let's go back up here and paint some clouds. Okay, so right up here, we're going to take this old fan brush and just start painting in some clouds, leaving all these nice little pink areas coming through. All over it. And so this could be, the blue could be the sky, and the pink could be the clouds. It's whatever you want to do. But because we're using this dark blue first, it's going to overpower the red and create these little holes and stuff in our sky. If you did it opposite, you would have a hard time, really hard time making all this happen. So just kind of keep on playing with it here. Use an old fan brush. And just reload as you need to. And just work it all the way down to the bottom. Okay, you can even fill in some areas as you want. Maybe a little more stronger on the blue there, just kind of reloading. Just like they're right there. You have a pretty cool sky. Maybe a little more blue right here. And this is a very simple and easy way to get a really cool and really unique sky in your paintings. We'll probably do some more like this in the season this year. In this season here. Because it's really fun to do. Okay, maybe just a little more blue here. But you can play with it and continue playing with it. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go wash some brushes out. Okay, to wash your brush, I have terpenoid in the bottom of this here bucket. And then I have my signature screen right there on it. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of demonstrate here how this works. Now, this is covered all the way, but just to show you, to demonstrate it for you, this brush goes right on top of that screen. You're going to wash it just like this. Okay, and then you would want to drain the sides of it to wash it out. But it doesn't take a whole lot of aggression. You don't have to be very aggressive. This is a screen here that's very thin wire. That way that it will wash this brush very effectively and very easily. And it doesn't really stay clogged really at all. So this screen right here will last you a long time. Doesn't really get clogged up. So that's how you basically wash your brushes. You know, you just go back and forth. You can do some circles. And then just squeeze out the sides. And give it a shake inside this bucket. That's why I use a bigger bucket for the little bucket to go into. That way it contains a lot of these shakes. Okay, there we go. Then we just beat the brush out. Just like that. And we just dry it off on a paper towel. Okay, so now our brush is good and dry. I'm just going to go over this whole thing and gently start to soften it down. No pressure, just a little bit. Just a tiny little bit. Okay, see that? Just nice and softens it down just a little bit. Okay, and because there's a little paint there left on this brush, I'm just going to beat it out. And there you go. Pretty much clean brush again. There we go. Okay, so now that we have our sky completed, I think we want to start working on these little small hills. I want to put some little small hills. They're not really mountains per se, but they kind of are. So they're kind of like a mountain, middle between a mountain and a hill. And we will make a color. Let me just grab my palette knife. So we'll make a little color up here. So we'll take some titanium white. And some Prussian blue, some ivory black, some red. We'll go in this. And make a nice dark gray purple color. And then we can always take a little bit of this right here. Just put it on. Just like so. And I just realized I forgot sap green. So I'm going to add a little sap green to that too. Sometimes you forget to add a color, even with the color chart. Okay. So that's a good looking color right there. And we're going to take a fan brush real quick. And we're going to load a number 6 fan brush right into this color. Okay. Let's go back here now. Okay, so we're right through here. I'm going to start tapping in my shape of my little hill / mountain. Okay, just like that. It's a very simple shape. You can make it however shape you want it to be. I'm just going to use the old fan brush for this. Just like that. See how it goes right off the canvas? And then you just fill it in. Just like that. Okay, just like so. And I really did because I want the little fuzzy edges to it. So that's why I used an old fan brush there. Then I'm going to take a 1-inch brush. And I'm going to take a little titanium white on it, just on the tips of it. And just do little circles, just like this. Maybe a touch of that red, because I want to add just a little of that pinkish glow to it back here. You can see it's kind of picked up some of that pink. And the reason I like using swirls is it makes it look like it's whipping through. The smoky kind of look to it. Just like that. Okay, so we're at the bottom. We're going to add another little mountain. And so for that, we're going to go to this palette here. I'm just going to add a little more black to that mixture. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. Add a little more black to it. Just make it a little darker. Maybe a touch more blue. Okay, just like that. Just so it's a little darker, a little more green, a little touch of red. Just making it a little darker, okay? And so we're at the bottom here. I'm going to offset the biggest one about right here. Okay, so let's offset this mountain just a little bit. If you put the little peaks right on top of each other, it just ain't gonna look right. So you got to make sure you kind of space out those little peaks. And just kind of fill it in with your old fan brush here. And then we'll go back to the old 1-inch brush. And basically do the same thing here. I like that dirty kind of whips and smoky looks at the bottom of these mountains like this. Just simple. Something like that. Right here, I can just need to soften it just a little more. There we go. There. Give them those texture flowing in there. There we go. And we will go back to the fan brush and we'll load it up on the palette. Okay, so I'm just going to load my old fan brush up here, pulling straight through. We're going to add a little more sap green to it. It's hard to show you all these colors. This paint reflects off of the lights, and if we had very little light, it would still kind of reflect. Hopefully that's a little better for you. A little more black. Okay. And let's go right up here. Nice and sharp brush. Brush is sharp. Let's go back here. Now what I want to do is I want to create a landline. Just like that. Okay. Reload that brush. And depending on how much you want to see, this is what you're going to do. I'm sliding the brush. I'm not tapping the brush. I'm sliding the brush. Just like this. It makes it very easy to do these little trees. I'm just sliding the brush. Just sliding it, just like this. This creates a very nice and sharp and right into the background type little trees. And this makes it so much easier to create these little trees like this. Okay. It'll mix with amazing white. It can get foggy. Just reload your brush. And you got some dark ones again. See? Super sharp, super cool. This is a nice little method I like to use. Makes it quick. Okay. There we go. Okay, so right down here we're going to add some more black to our tree base we've already been using. Our mountain base, really. And some burnt umber, some sap green. And then some red. Just nice and dark. Nice and dark. And the reason we don't just use black is so we get all this variety of colors. So when you start adding highlights to it, you start seeing these different colors. Right now it looks black on camera, but it's not. Okay? It's not that dark. It's actually dark, but it's not black. There's a variety of color going through it. Let's go grab a 2-inch brush. And load an old 2-inch brush up with this dark color. Okay. And let's go back here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the bottom with this dark color. And because we have NTO on it, it's going to remain very dark. Okay. Matter of fact, I'll just use X stroke. You see how we used NTO and it kept it black, almost dark? Now you can start to see the variety of the color. It's a nice dark, earthy black color. And just fill it up. Now at this section here, I'm gonna take my 1-inch brush and just do little circles to add a little bit of mist. Just a little mist. You can always add a little touch of amazing white to your brush. And just add a little more of that mist going through. Okay. And it just helps push this back a little bit more. Okay, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to wipe off the 2-inch brush. And we'll go down to the palette. I just scooped up a little bit of amazing white here. We're going to go through cadmium yellow light, a little bit of yellow ochre, and reach in here and grab a touch of sap green with it. Okay, and we're just going to use amazing white just to thin it down just a little bit. Okay, let's take this brush and we're going to push that brush right into the paint just like this. See how little ridge it creates? That little ridge is now on the brush. Right, let's go back here. Now back through here, I'm just going to start touching. Just like this. And get some grass. This brush creates grass so nicely. And so easily. Now if your paint is not coming off your brush like this, add a little bit more medium to it. Load the brush up a little bit more. You may need more paint. Okay. You may need more paint. And I'm letting the brush back off a little bit on the pressure. Okay. So make some nice, beautiful grass this easily. Just tapping the brush. And as I get to the bottom, it's going to pick up even more darks. I'm going to let off the brush and gently touch it. This way, I help the brush make it darker down here. If you push too hard, it's going to get bright, too bright. And I want some shadows at the bottom of this. Okay. Just simple like that right there. And we'll go back to the old palette. And I'm going to take my 1-inch landscape brush. And I'm going to grab some amazing white and go right to this yellow. A touch of yellow ochre. Really load it up nice. Same way. Kind of push it in. Okay, let's go back here. And just back here in this little small sections, I'm going to add just a little extra brightness on the grass. Just a little extra brightness. Just like that. It shows a little bit more lights kind of playing in this one. And I can even add a little amazing white to the brush. Just add a little extra spark or two. Living way back here. Just simple. There we go. Good. I think that's good right there. And you can just wipe that old brush off. And I think it's time to start adding some trees in this one. Start pushing this thing back some more. We're going to take an old filbert brush, number 6 filbert. We're going to go right through this dark paint we used for the bottom of the grass, that dark color. I mean, a little more burnt sienna to it. And just load that brush up really good. Okay, just like that. Let's go back here. Okay, now it's time to start deciding where our big trees are going to be at. They're going to have 3 big old trees in this one. And I'm going to have one that sticks right over here. Like right there. Load the old brush up. We have one that's right over here. It's just a little bit shorter. Have it right there. Okay. And I think we'll have, there's another one that lives. We'll put it right here. And it'll be just a little shorter. Living right back here. Okay, I'm going to make it a little thicker though. And fill that up real good. And just kind of fill these up a little bit more. Maybe make it a little taller. And we're going to do some pine needle trees here. There's several ways to do it, but we're going to show you one way to do it with the old 1-inch brush. And let's make it a little thicker. There we go. Nice and thick. And then what we can do is play around with, maybe there's a couple that lives back here, and you're only going to see like the trunks of them. See, you're going to add some depth to your painting by doing that. You can even add a couple. It's right over here. And then make sure you add in your shadows. You're going to add your little shadow is right through here. Those shadows of everything that you're going to do. If you don't, it won't look right. It won't look like it's setting in here. Okay, just something like that. And we can go down to the old palette now. And we're going to take some titanium white, some burnt sienna, mix that up real good. Probably add just a touch of blue. That helps gray it. Probably a little bit more burnt sienna. And we can add a touch of sap green as well. Nice and marbled. And we just get a roll of paint on the old knife. But I'm going to use the back side. No, we're going to use this side. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, so what they're going to do here is just going to touch this knife to the edges and get some of those beautiful barky textures. Go right through this old tree. Just right through this old tree, you're going to have some bark. You know, you can use the liner brush like we did last time. Last week we did trees, we used the liner brush. But now I'm just using the knife. Just to kind of make it a little faster and a little more textured. So just tap at the bottom, kind of bring it around like that. And then we could take some Prussian blue and a little titanium white. And right here, maybe a little more blue, or white I mean. And get a little bit roll on that side. And you can just add a little blue in here, just a little bit of blue. A little bit more of that tree color again, the shadow. And that blue just gives you a little color spark. It gives you a little bit of that modern look to a painting. Nice little hints of blue going through there. And we do the same thing for the rest of the trees. Right to the rest of them. Just work it out. Like that. And we'll go ahead and get this side over here too. Maybe this one here is just right here. You're just going to see a little bit on it. Because this tree's kind of blocking some of its power, the highlight. There we go. And then we just work our way up these trees. Just work your way up it. You're not going to see all of this because you're going to have some leaves on this tree. So you're probably going to see not much of this at all. But you decide on that, right? You decide how much you want. And we'll go back to that blue. And just add little shots of blue in here. I like adding a little bit of blue. You can probably add blue on this one on both sides of this one. Little shot of blue there. And you just work them, kind of work them together. It kind of blends in. Really, it's the bottom that matters the most. This little area is here. Because you're not going to really see much on the top. So we're just going to focus our attention to the base. Okay, that looks good to me. Okay, so now we have our trees in place. I want to add a few little limbs to it, just to kind of get us going. So I'm going to take some mineral spirits, go to the palette right here. I'm going to thin down some of this tree color we were using. Nice and thin on a little liner brush. Okay, just like that. Nice sharp point. Let's go back here. Okay, and so I'm just going to use just a tip of it and just start to add in some limbs, just like so. Just to kind of get me started. Okay, and you could do that to the whole thing. That just get me started. And we'll take a 1-inch brush. Matter of fact, I'm going to wash mine out real quick. Okay, let's go to the palette. Okay, so we're going to take our 1-inch landscape brush and just pull right through this paint. Going to basically load it up a chisel edge. Okay, once you kind of get it chiseled, you're ready to go. Let's go back to this tree. Now you can just do the little limbs coming. You can just do the little limbs coming out, but I want to add a little bit more to it. And that's going to add some leaves, and we're just going to push up on the brush. Just push it up on one corner. Just on one corner. Now you can see those little things we added back there disappear. Just right up here. And we're not done with this thing. You're going to add some more limbs and stuff to it. But I just wanted to kind of get this in here and show you that. And add a few little limbs that stick out. This way you know what size to make them. Okay? This way you know what size to make your little limbs. Because if not, you could be just wasting your time. Okay. And that's good enough. You can really add to it. I'm sure to show you the technique. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this other tree. Just get it going. Getting it going. Do the same thing on this little one over here as well. It ain't the end of the world there. I messed up a little bit and just fixed it right back. But again, and you'll decide on how much and how little you want to do to start it off. And then you just go back to that same old color with the old 1-inch brush. The old 1-inch brush again, chiseled. You can even have some bigger holes sticking out of this one. To me, this kind of has like a bit of a scene. Just a nice, calm, relaxing scene. You know. That's my favorite way to do it, is make some relaxing scenes. I love that sky coming through. Let's go to the other tree. And you can just start to play around with this one as well. start playing in this one. Just something like that right there. And then come back and add your little details to it, you know, your little limbs. You know you're going to have some limbs coming out of this thing. So make sure you add those to it. Maybe a little small one too here and there. Just a few little details. Really sell a painting. Okay. Now you can decide if you want to add highlights to them or not to add highlights to them. Let's go to the bottom. I'm going to use some of that dark tree color we had. And I'm just going to go over like this. This gives me more shadow. More darker, more realistic, more in depth. More depth to the shadow than if I didn't have it like this. So see how that shadow really is pushed out? Okay, that's nice. We'll wash the brush. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a clean 1-inch brush here, and I'm just going to try to blend some of these little sticks and twigs in here. This way it smooths it out a little bit more. Now again, like I said, you can actually add some highlights to these if you want to. I'm going to actually take some more dark and hit it in a few areas with some dark. Just little touch-ups here and there. Just here and there. And I think I'm going to keep it dark. Instead of adding the highlights to it, I think I'm going to keep it like it is right here, nice and dark. Just to give it a different little silhouette type feel to it. But again, you can add them if you choose to. But I like this and how it is. You can even add a little eagle or some birds back here if you decide to do that. But I think with that, I got to finish a little painting. Alrighty, so I just finished signing my painting. It's always important to sign your painting. This one's a lot of fun to do. I really enjoy doing paintings like this. It has a nice mood to them and makes it nice and relaxing to look at. I think you'll enjoy doing this one. This one's great for beginners, intermediates, even advanced students. But this one is a fantastic painting. Get there and get monkey-faced on it. Have a good time. We used a very limited palette. Like I said, you get the palette information at brandthomasart.com. Very simple palette. I think it's only like 8 colors we use. And just simple tools. You can do it. You can do it. You can get monkey face. You can do it. So I do hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you please subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel. Please like. Please comment below. Every time you like and comment, that helps us push this video out to get more viewers watching the shows. So thank you again for watching me. You can also pick up my signature brushes at BrandonThomasArtSupply.com. And make sure you join us on our Facebook group, Brandon's Wet on Wet Club. Thank you for watching. I love you, but Jesus loves you more. God bless you, and I'll see you real soon.
The Painting with Magic Show with Brandon Thomas is brought to you by BrandonThomasArtSupply.com.